Hey guys. Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Christina if you're new here. For today's video, I wanted to share with you guys what I got from Barnes & Noble. It's kind of my first like big Barnes & Noble purchase. I have not started reading any of these books yet, and I'm actually super excited to start reading them because it's kind of like my July/August TBR. I'm gonna just pull books out of the bag next to me and just kind of tell you guys why I bought them and the summary of them. That's on the back of the book. They both die at the end. So this book I saw a lot on Book Talk, and honestly I wasn't gonna read it because I heard that there's a lot of mixed reviews for this book. Some people love it and some people absolutely like don't like it because they think it's slow or the storyline isn't that great. But I wanted to just see for myself to see if I like it or not, because I know that I will probably have my own opinions on it, and we'll probably share that with you guys once I do my reading wrap up for July or August, depending on when I read this. But it says, on September 5th, a little after midnight, Death Cast calls Mateo, Torres, and Rufus Ontario to deliver some bad news. They're going to die in less than 24 hours. Mateo and Rufus are total strangers, but for totally different reasons. They're both looking to make a new friend, and they're on their end day. The good news is there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Mateo meet up for one final epic adventure to live a lifetime in a single day. So I just think the storyline's really cool. And I first saw the cover when I was at the bookstore like a couple months ago, and I was gonna pick it up then, but was like, no, I'll get it later. So it's later, and I picked it up. The next book that I got is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I saw the book Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I wanted to pick that up too at the bookstore because I saw that book all over Book Talk, but they did not have it at my Barnes & Noble. They were sold out. So I ended up picking up this one instead, and I kind of like that I picked up this one first because I'm not expecting like a great book since I haven't really heard anything about, you know, this book in particular, but I did want to just see how this author writes and her writing style before I even read Normal People, just to see if I'd even want to actually read that book. So maybe this will make me even more excited to read Normal People when I actually find that. But it says, Alice, a novelist, meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend Eileen is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. Alice, Felix, Eileen, and Simon are still young, but life is catching up with them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they get together, they break up, they have sex, they worry about sex, they worry about their friendship and the world they live in. Are they standing in the last lighted room before the darkness, bearing witness to something? Will they find a way to believe in a beautiful world? So I'm guessing it's gonna be like two love stories in one book. At least that's what I'm getting from the summary. This book is pretty lengthy. I think it also has like illustrations at the end, which I'm interested to see. Oh, it's just the last cover. So like the last cover has like this like little notes there. So I'm interested to see what that means by reading the book. So I will update you guys on this book too later once I actually finish reading it. The next book I got is The Twin by Natasha Preston. I got this book mainly because I had just finished reading The Fear by Natasha Preston, and I also know she has a couple other books that I've seen on Book Talk. I think it's called like The Cellar, which they mention it here. It says #1 New York Times best-selling author of The Cellar, so I heard that book's really good. When I read The Fear, I'm telling you, afterwards at the end of the book, I was staring at my wall for a minute afterwards because I was so confused. Sorry guys, I'm itching my nose because my nose itches, but anyways, I read it and I was just like staring. I was so mad. I think I was upset with how the book ended because it was on a cliffhanger and I wanted to know whether or not the person in the book was caught, but I don't know. So now I'm like, why isn't there a sequel to that one? But I've heard that a lot of her books have cliffhangers like that, so I'm probably gonna be mad at this book too. It's called The Twin, and it says, Ivy and Iris haven't lived together for years. When their mother and father divorced, each parent got custody of one twin. But after a tragic accident takes their mom's life, the devastated sisters are reunited, and Iris moves in with Ivy and their dad. Iris takes their mom's death especially hard. She barely talks, spending hours alone in her room. Ivy can't stand to see Iris so sad. So she promised Iris that she can share her life now. After all, they're sisters, twins. It's a promise that Iris takes seriously, and before long, Ivy's friends, her teachers, and even her boyfriend fall under Iris's spell. Soon, Ivy begins to think there's something wrong with her twin. It's almost like Iris is out to get her. Ivy tells herself she's being paranoid. It's not like she's in any danger from her twin. And that's pretty much it for the summary. I want to see how this storyline plays out. I want to see exactly like what the twin's doing. So I might read this book next after I finish the book I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which that book so far, chef's kiss. Like the storyline's great. Highly recommend that book if you guys are interested in reading. I know that's a popular book talk book, which is where I got it from, but it is a good book. So the next book I have is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. This is a book that I picked up because it has LGBT representation in it. I saw a couple of her other books too, and I was gonna pick those ones up, but I wanted to start with one just to see if I like her writing style before I even, you know, dip more into her. But she also is the best-selling author of Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I know is also all over TikTok. It says, for cynical 23-year-old August, moving to New York City is supposed to prove her right. That things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist, and the only smart way to go through life is alone. She can't imagine how waiting tables at a 24-hour pancake diner and moving in with too many weird roommates could possibly change that. And there's certainly no chance of her subway commute being anything more than a daily trudge through boredom and electrical failures. And then there's this gorgeous girl on the train, Jane, dazzling, charming, mysterious, impossible Jane. Jane with her rough edges and soupy hair and soft smile, showing up in a leather jacket to save August's morning when she needs it most. August's subway crush becomes the best part of her day, but pretty soon she discovers there's one big problem. Jane doesn't just look like an old school punk rocker, she is literally displaced in time from the 1970s. And August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. Maybe it's time to start believing in some things after all. The design of it is just really pretty. I love anything pink, so this book just called for me. But I'm really interested to see how the storyline plays out because this seems like a really interesting and unique storyline, and I hope I'm not upset at the end of this book. Alright, I couldn't leave the store without picking up a Colleen Hoover book, let alone 2 Colleen Hoover books. So I got Verity and Without Merit. I'm pretty sure Without Merit is one of her YA books. I was actually on Colleen's Instagram page the other day and I actually saw like all of her books. I wanted to see which ones I have not read yet. I've read currently 3 of her books, so I picked up book number 4 and book number 5 of hers that I'm gonna read. So I'm trying to read all of her books. But this is Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. The Voss family is anything but normal, from the irritatingly perfect older siblings to the little half-brother who isn't allowed to do or eat anything fun. Then there's Merit. She collects trophies she hasn't earned and secrets her family forces her to keep. While browsing in local antique shop for another trophy, she meets Sagan. He's witty and idealistic and sparks renewed life into her, until she learns that he's completely unavailable. Merit retreats deeper into herself, watching her family from the sidelines. When she learns a secret that no trophy in the world can fix, fed up with the lies, Merit decides to shatter the happy family illusion that she's never been a part of, leaving them behind for good. But when her escape plan fails, Merit is forced to deal with the staggering consequences of telling the truth and losing the one boy she loves. What I do love about Colleen is that her covers always have a meaning to them. They always correlate with the book. So I want to know what like the safety pins on this like paper thing is and like how that ties into the book. And then I picked up Verity. Verity's supposed to be one of her suspense creepy books. And just by reading the back of it, I was already like, oh gosh, like what is this gonna entail? It says Loan Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford has been a best-selling author. Verity Crawford has hired Loan to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Loan arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Loan doesn't expect to uncover is in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her. So it's supposed to be a romantic thriller. I want to see what the heck Lowen finds out. I am scared to read it because I heard like this really creeped out some people, so yeah, I'll get to this eventually. So this is Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I honestly picked this up because I saw the cover and it just looked like some of the other books I had already picked up, like One Last Stop and Beach Read, which I also picked up. So I was like, why not? Let me just pick it up. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. So I think this is just supposed to be about the female character in the book based off what I read in the back. So I don't know if they're gonna tie in the male, but we'll see. But this says, hopeless romantic and lifestyle reporter Laura's business trip to the Channel Islands isn't off to a great start. After an embarrassing encounter with the most attractive man she's ever seen in real life, she arrives at her hotel and realizes she grabbed the wrong suitcase from the airport. Her only consolation is its irresistible contents, each of which intrigues her more and more. The owner of the suitcase is clearly Laura's dream man. Now all she has to do is find him. Besides, what are the odds that she'd find the one and the same island, on the same island where her parents first met and fell in love, especially as she sets out to write an article about their romance. Commissioning surly cab driver Ted to ferry her around seems like the best bet in both tracking down the suitcase owner and retracing her parents' footsteps. But as Laura's mystery man proves difficult to find, and as she uncovers Stanley's secrets, she may have to reimagine the life and love she always thought she wanted. And this is another popular book talk book. This is called Beach Read by Emily Henry. This has been all over my little like timeline for the For You page. So yeah, I'll read you guys what it's supposed to be about. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of a rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Okay. I think this is more of a enemies to lovers trope in some way, because I mean they're kind of like also an opposites attract to lovers. I heard this book's a great book. It looks a little big, honestly. How many pages is it? About 350 something. Not bad. This is the books that I am going to try to read and that I bought from Barnes & Noble. I also hope you guys found some books that you guys might want to read. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.